All right. Are you guys ready
feel
to
the same.
clap?
Yep.
Yeah. Are we clapping on 3? After 3?
One,
What are we
two,
doing?
three. Clap on
1, 2,
4.
3, clap
Great.
Okay.
is what we'll do. 1, 2, 3. Okay. That's going to be so interesting because, like, we clapped and then you delayed.
Oh,
So,
see,
like,
and
in our...
I
yeah,
clapped
it's-
at the same time as you.
See? It's-
Yeah.
That's why you do that, so you can get, like, a good thing. Look at... See, do you see
Look
that
at
peak?
those peaks. That's some sweet peaks
Yeah,
right
it's
there.
perfect. It's exactly what you want, because then it's like... That's why they have
Boom.
clappers in the movies, actually.
Oh. Check that out. Fun fact I didn't know.
Anytime we didn't have one, like, because I went to film school, anytime we didn't have one, everyone would be like, shut up. Now somebody clap. Like, that's always the clap.
Okay, so we've actually begun.
Hey.
I have to leave those clapping tidbits in, because why not?
Oh, okay. Well, okay, there we go.
My face kind of hurts. This
Why
is
does your
weird.
face hurt? Is it
I don't know.
cold?
We'll get into it.
Wait, did you get into a fight?
No.
For your first fight?
I did ask my wife to slap me earlier, actually.
To get a good, clap sound?
She was, yeah. She was pretending to slap me, and I was like, try again. And so I finally got her to slap me hard, and I was like, that's going to leave a mark.
Okay, I mean, I
So
won't,
is that
I won't
why it
shame
hurts?
No, it hurts in different ways. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm saying.
Gosh, anyways. Oh, we've gone this long without saying, hey, welcome to the Plain Donuts Podcast. I'm your co-host, Alicia.
I'm your co-host, Steve,
And this is our guest.
Cola. Hey.
Cola.
Hi, Cola.
Yeah.
This is a person...
Cola.
It's a little weird how much we, like, pumped up your guest appearance on Facebook. Like,
It is.
I don't know. It's
I feel a lot of pressure.
good.
Yeah, it'll be fun though.
You need to go to the bathroom?
Everyone's going to be like
Got 'em.
really disappointed at the end of this podcast. They're going to be like, she was awful. She didn't answer any of those questions.
It's okay.
All of those cool things you guys said are false.
No, they're not false, actually. They're just meaningless.
They're just meaningless, yeah.
Okay. But is it true that you have followers
Numbering in the dozens
of thousands?
Yes, that is accurate.
There you go. So that's more than I have. I have 74
Hey.
on Twitter, and then I have 374 on Instagram.
I'm really waffling in the 290s right now on Twitter. I don't know. I have a lot on Facebook. It doesn't matter. I've been telling people this, like, on Facebook, I just don't care. Like, if we've met before, I'll be like, sure, we're friends on Facebook. I don't care. So I just ended up, over the years, accumulating lots of people.
Yeah.
Good story, everybody.
Anyways, Cola is our first guest from afar.
Yeah, we're recording
remote
her
location,
remotely. That's
so-
why we had that banter about claps
Clapping
earlier.
And it was not about what you thought it might have been about, you dirty listeners. So
Yeah,
get your mind
geez.
out of the gutter.
What grade are we in?
First, or
So-
something.
Let's just start out with, like, how's everybody's week gone? Maybe we'll do like we'll start with you, Alicia. How's your week been since last Monday?
It's pretty good. I was sick like all week last week. It just would not go away, and I was just trying everything. I took vitamins, even though I know sometimes taking vitamins is meaningless, and I just laid around and I used Vicks and I used NyQuil and I used Alka-Seltzer, cold and flu.
Did you
and
put Vicks on your feet?
I did not, but I put those essential oils.
Oh,
Like the
yeah, that
super
scam. I know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very expensive. I've dumped really expensive oils on my feet and on the floor. It's really sad.
And on the floor.
Every drop is like $6 or something.
Jeez.
Well, I don't know. That's an exaggeration.
They say if you put Vicks on your feet, it like clears things up. I don't know.
I don't know. That doesn't really make sense to me because I feel like even though I did it, I was like, I'll try anything at this point. Like if it's not near your chest to like help with your congestion and things
Yeah,
like
but
that.
that's what they say. I don't know. It's weird.
Science or
Making-
not science.
Maybe not science. I don't know. Maybe
Not
it is science. Maybe there's like some kind of weird
pseudoscience.
I don't know. I'm gonna look this up now.
It's an alternate science.
I'm gonna go into
Steve.
a very, very deep hole about whether Vicks Vapor Rub works on your feet, and then I'm gonna be so mad at you for having brought it up this one time.
This one time.
Just kidding. And then I'm gonna like have to stop believing that vaccines work and stuff.
Oh, great! I can't wait for that.
Wait,
moment.
no, it's not that they don't work; it's that they cause autism. Sorry,
Oh.
getting it wrong.
Get it right,
from the
Steve.
start.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's important.
I'm the worst. Okay. Did anything else happen? That was just a story about how you were sick all week.
I mean,
the end.
My weekend was really not that exciting. I just kind of hung around and did a whole lot of nothing. Watched a bunch of West Wing and pretended that President Bartlett was my president instead.
Oh, lovely.
I mean, Otto started Police Academy on Monday, yesterday.
That's right.
So
is there anyone in his class that like makes really cool mouth noises?
I don't know, but apparently it's someone that he sat next to in elementary school is in his class that he sat next to now.
Weird.
Which is kind of weird. I was like, oh. Also, apparently there's someone from Idaho that drives down every day to go to the class. And the class is from 8 to 6. And then on Tuesdays, it's from 6 to 6. So this person drives probably at 3 in the morning from Idaho.
That is crazy.
That's dedication.
Class. And at this point, it's like, I mean, by the time you get home, it's going to be 9 o'clock, maybe 10. So you just have to go to sleep. Like, you don't get to...
Why would you go to, like, Ogden Police Academy?
I don't know. That's
Idaho?
what I was wondering. I mean, is it, like, cheaper? There's some advantage of doing that? This is kind of weird.
Oh, no, that's crazy. We live in the boonies where people do weird things, I guess.
Yeah, that's weird.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
I hope you feel better. Are you okay now? Or?
I feel pretty good.
Cool. All right. Nicole, how are you? We'll actually get to like a real introduction for you later, but we'll just start off with how's your week?
How's it
it
doing?
been
How's my week?
since you were born?
Well, since I was born.
Well, you've never been on the podcast before, so...
Well, you might as well do an introduction at that point.
No, okay, let's just go back to...
Well, guys, it all started on a rainy Tuesday. No.
Was it rainy? I think it was raining when I was born. I can't remember. Anyway, sorry, very sidetracked.
I mean, it's fine. My week was kind of like Alicia's. I got super sick, and then I had a friend from South Africa who has never been to the States come to town. And I was like, I am getting better for when she's here because we're traveling. So I was like determined to get well by Thursday. And I did, and everything was great. And we went on vacation and traveled a bunch. And then the day I was coming home, I woke up with a sore throat and just got like viciously sick. Like I felt worse than I've ever felt in my life. And, although I didn't have any of that like chest congestion or anything, totally was given Vicks Vapor Rub and put it on my feet. So
oh wow.
Hey.
You didn't even speak up earlier.
No.
You should have said, "Hey, I tried it on my feet. Did it work?"
Did it work?
I was saving it for this moment.
Nice.
She's gonna roast us and say it totally works.
I don't know if it worked. I mean, I was so medicated that so Friday I felt awful. I like went to the doctor. He gave me a bunch of stuff. My mom like threw a bunch of stuff at me as well because she had been sick. So I was on like antibiotics and codeine and Vicks Vapor Rub and like Theraflu.
You just did a cocktail. You're like everything.
So,
I want everything. One
like,
of each.
Yeah, like a humidifier, everything. So I woke up on Saturday and was like, I feel pretty good. Like
hey, check it out.
Just took it all until I felt okay. But that's also my voice is still kind of gone and a little rough and weird sounding, but just deal with it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better anyway.
Yeah.
My brother's allergic to codeine.
Oh, no.
And he found this out, like, because he broke his leg or something one time, and I think that, he had to have surgery to get, like, a metal thing put in it.
Ooh.
So he was, like, basically on codeine, and he went upstairs. My mom was up there, probably, like, took the day off work or something to, like, be with him as he recovered. Anyway, he went upstairs, and he's like, Mom, I think I'm gonna throw up. And then he just projectile vomited in our kitchen.
That's what. How old was he?
I think he was like 13 or 14.
Okay, that's pretty old then. But I think it's really funny how kids, and I'll just generalize kids / early teens.
Yeah.
They kind of come and like they announce like what bodily function is about to happen. Like, I'm going to poop my pants, and then they do it. And like, why would you not just go to the bathroom and take care of that? Why must you come and announce it to me and then do it on the floor?
You're not used to those signals yet. Yeah. So like, as soon as you realize that that's what the signal means, it's too late. So you're like, oh, that's poop. Oh, here it is. Well... So by the time you're 13, you're saying you probably should realize what barfing is. Yeah. But the thing is he was allergic, so he didn't realize like that. He's like, I didn't feel sick, and then I suddenly felt like I was going to throw up, and I was allergic to codeine.
I think my mom's allergic to it as well, because, I mean, it's her codeine that she gave me, which is really bad. Children listening, don't share drugs.
Yeah, do not share drugs.
Don't do that at all.
Don't
totally
tell them about it.
Don't share prescriptions. But
the police are after you.
It's true.
We have a lot of police that listen to this podcast.
Oh, well. They'll be showing up at my door at some point. But my mom, like, she can't have codeine because it makes her legs like itch and feel like they're being like pulled, like
that sounds like the worst.
Like on that weird torture machine from The Princess Bride, where they just like stretch him.
That does not sound fun.
It's my mom and codeine.
That sounds terrible.
Oh.
I guess I could talk about my week.
Yeah, Steve, how was it?
How was your week, Steve?
So context is that last year I started getting these weird kind of like pressure headaches last winter, and even a little bit dizzy, like kind of feeling like vertigo. And so it started happening again really recently. And my glands have been swollen in my throat. And so the other night, I think it was probably like Wednesday or Thursday night, I was feeling my glands and I was like, man, they've been swollen for a few weeks or whatever. And it's because I had a cold a few weeks ago, and that your glands are just kind of active for a while after that. So I freaked myself out because I looked it up online. I was like, what does it mean if your glands are swollen for a long time?
Oh, no.
There was this article that was like, oh, you're probably fine. Just means your body's doing work. Or you might have cancer. And so like...
Or your thyroid has cancer.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, no. And I have this weird head thing. I probably totally have all kinds of cancer. So anyway...
Did you go get scanned?
No. I think before I started feeling sick, I heard on the Ask Hank and John podcast from the Hank and John Green brothers, I heard John say that if you have a regular relationship with a doctor, then you're statistically more likely to live like longer and healthier. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to like make an appointment for my yearly checkup. It's all covered on my insurance anyway, because it's like preventive. So they're down for that. So I made an appointment with a doctor, and then I started like feeling the stuff in my head and my throat and whatever. And I was like, oh, good. I'm glad I'm going to the doctor in case this cancer is like really bad.
Cancer.
So I went to the doctor yesterday and just basically did a physical. And I told him that my head had been hurting, and he like did some extra tests to make sure that I didn't have like any weird like brain neurological stuff happening. And then he had to do that thing where he touches your nether regions and you cough. That was very uncomfortable. And like, I haven't done that since I was probably a teenager, like having to do it for school or whatever. Yeah. And so it was very awkward.
Checking for like hernias and things.
Yeah, I don't know what they're checking for.
I think it's,
exactly.
Because Otto had to do that recently.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, I haven't done this since high school. And I'm like, oh, okay.
It was, so I was expecting them to like touch and be like, turn your head and cough and whatever. Yeah. And it was kind of hard. Like, he like put his finger right on there, and I was like, oh boy. You're doing that less tenderly than I hoped you would, Doctor. I wanted this to be a nice moment between you
turning
and
red a little bit, actually.
I don't usually talk about
his bodily.
Yeah, no, areas. But I'm not 35 yet, so they don't have to like really invade me.
Not yet.
Weird
not yet. Not till you're 40.
Hey, girl.
Got something to look forward to.
So anyway,
is your I know it doesn't really matter, but you said he. I was going to ask, is your doctor
It's a male yeah.
doctor?
It was.
Okay.
I didn't really care. Like either way would have been fine. But like I forgot my train of thought. My wife just sent me a message through Facebook that said, "Can I have some money? Okay, thanks, bye."
Is she coming in to grab some
Hold on.
cash?
No, I have to do this thing.
Oh, he's gonna go. Steve is tossing. Oh,
It didn't work.
He tossed
I'll
his
be back.
credit card over to the door, and he's running to the door and picking up his credit card. And he is running down the hall now. So now it's just me and you, Cola.
It's just us.
For a minute, just us girls.
It's us and my dog eating treats, which hopefully no one can hear on my end.
Yeah, I can't really hear it, so you're good. So speaking of doctor's visits and Otto going to the doctor, so it's funny because his doctor is my doctor. We go the same, like, I guess not really a doctor, he's a PA, physician's assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And his provider, I guess our provider, health provider,
Yeah. Yeah.
is his boss's brother.
Perfect.
So he when he came back from his appointment when he had to go get a physical, and he's like, it's really weird to be touched by someone that looks a lot like your boss.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that would be weird. So I guess, as uncomfortable as it is, I guess it could be a little bit more awkward and could be your boss's brother who
I wonder which part of that part of the job would be your favorite if you were a doctor.
Like, as in,
because
exclusively touching
the reason I say
areas,
say that is because my doctor said we have to do the one test for males. You're not old enough for the other one yet. Is what he said. And to me, I was kind of like, you sounded a little disappointed there. Not really. I'm probably putting that into the memory. He was probably just being very businesslike, but it was pretty funny.
That's awesome.
Anyway, it was. I don't know. My favorite part. I think my favorite part would be like tapping. They pull out this little rubber hammer thing and tap your knees. And it was so funny to me because I was like, I'm not doing this voluntarily.
Yeah.
It's just my body.
I just feel like a kid every time that happens. I'm like, I'm a child. I'm
like
not...
you're just swinging your legs in a chair that's too big for
you.
Pretty
much. That's kind of how it feels.
So he also this is the whole story. He had to touch my belly in a bunch of places and stuff.
Oh, did they press it on your stomach where they touch they press it really hard and you could feel your heartbeat?
No, he just was like, tell me if it hurts anywhere.
Uh-huh.
And then when he was almost finished with that, I was like, I don't remember being this ticklish. But it was really funny because I told him I was asking him about weight and stuff, and I was asking him what would be a good target because I set my own goal, but who cares? Anyway, he said I said I've been losing some weight, and he's like, oh, I can just tell by your physical build. I have never seen this doctor before. And he's like, oh yeah, I can see that, and I was like, this really am I saggy or something? What?
You can tell by your physical build.
You're like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was pretty funny.
It kind of makes me want to just say random things. Oh yeah, I was pregnant a couple months ago. Oh, I can tell. Lies. I was never pregnant. Just call him out on it, and then just be a jerk to this nice person.
I apologize for my barking dogs. My wife just left to go somewhere, and now they're like,
why are they so obsessed with me? That's a Mean Girls quote.
Oh, okay. Sorry, very sidetracked right now. Yeah. Very distracted.
Okay.
So should we go on to formally introducing our guest?
Yeah, we should introduce Cola in a real way. I don't know exactly what that means.
Yeah, so
I don't
from what I understand, and I briefly read this, and I've heard a little bit about you and what you do. You're a social media expert, the world has never seen.
Yeah.
Similar to Mark Zuckerberg,
Kim Kardashian,
and Kim Kardashian, combined. So
yeah, just keep them coming. That's right.
I want to know for real, we've talked a little bit because we work sort of have worked in sort of the same areas, but I still don't know what your like actual daytime job is.
What's hysterical though is that like no one does, like no one ever knows what I do. And I actually work in an office that everyone works for one company, and I'm like the one person that works for the other company that's run out of the office. So we'll get new people and they'll be like, what do you do here after like 3 weeks or something? Like literally I'm asked that so often. So we've just started either like, I feel like Chandler from Friends, where no one knows what he is. He's a transponster. And I either like say that or like Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother. Nobody knows what he does. So he just always says, oh, please. So I never actually answer it. But.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I will.
I'm not in.
Yeah, I will for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. We're getting the inside scoop.
You heard it here, folks.
We're real journalists now.
Yeah, there you go. Because my life's super interesting. So I am VP of a marketing company. So we basically do like email broadcasts. We do your social media, your website building. We run your ads on like every different platform. We write your content, all that kind of fun stuff.
Cool.
Cool.
So, and I guess sort of like the driving reason, besides the fact that we're friends and whatever, to have you on the podcast was because we were like, well, it was really weird for me, actually. I found out you had like 13,000 Instagram followers.
And Steve was like, we got to get on that train.
That wasn't it. I'm trying to tell a story here. We found out that I found that out and I was like, she has never mentioned her Instagram fame to me even once. So
Fame, yes.
Yeah. And then recently, and I didn't know this as well, this last week I was like, oh, I wonder if that like carries over on Twitter. And you have like close to 8,000 Twitter followers too.
Oh.
And I was like, who? She doesn't seem like she's trying that hard, you know, like
I'm not at all.
Nice.
So I guess what we're asking is teach us the secrets.
Yeah, because well, what we're really asking is for you to just make some posts about this podcast. No,
yeah, exactly. I mean, I will because now I'm on it. So
I know you have to now. We have roped you into doing work. We did it.
Yay.
No, people do that to me all the time. They find out I have like X many Instagram followers, and they're like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And I'm like, what? How do you slip that into like casual conversation? Like, why would I ever just be like, did you know? So people,
some people are like, it's part of their life where they're like working hard to like grow their Instagram followership and stuff. So in getting to know them, you just happen to know the numbers because that's something that they care about.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say I don't care about it, but I also, it's not something that I'm like, ooh, I'm making money off of it or anything. So it's not anything particularly like fantastic in my life. It's more, I don't know.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Well, yeah. So it's just really weird. And I've been to your Instagram. Like, it's good stuff on there.
Let me see. I actually don't know what your Instagram is.
I forgot.
What is your Instagram?
Geez, Steve.
I can't remember which of the names it is because sometimes you've been consolidating, but I'm not sure if this one.
Been. It's just Rudin, not Ginger, but there's no E in Ginger. If that makes sense.
Rudin, not Ginger.
Not Ginger.
Ginger. That's how you're supposed to say it.
Yeah. Hey, look, there's some dogs on here. Oh, there's your dog.
There's
We're just
my
talking
dog.
about.
Yeah,
really
all
cute.
of the guests on this podcast, pets are, you must have at least one pet.
One pet to apply.
That's why we only invited you on after you got your dog.
That's fair. I was telling Alicia, you walked away, and I was like, I was worried he was going to make a bunch of noise because he's in his kennel, and he literally bit me right before this. I'm like bleeding from it. I'm like,
oh no.
Yes, he's great.
Our puppy, my wife, like, when we just got her as a puppy, like, she was really responsive to like voice tone. So when she would be playing and she'd bite too hard, my wife every time would be like, no. And so now, like, she hardly even bites at all when she plays. It's pretty weird. but she, like, it was funny because, like, very shortly thereafter, she just stopped biting hard. So maybe you should try that. Maybe you should punch your dog. I think that's probably... Because your dog's a lot bigger, so he probably doesn't respond as well to you just yelling at him.
He doesn't respond to really anything. He doesn't understand, like... He doesn't know how to properly express his excitement for things, so he bites. And so I'm trying to break him of that. Because he listens to everything else. He's very smart, but he can't figure out that, like, biting me hurts. So, you know.
I see. Well, should we start with some questions?
Let's
I don't
go
know.
Into it.
You
had a lot on your and Steve.
Yeah, I had a few on my post. I started with one. I asked, so we're trying to trick the Facebook algorithm into actually showing people our posts because Facebook, like, it's a real thing.
So tough. It's just like suppressed posts, and you would not believe what Facebook tried to do today. So you know how we've been dropping like $5 on the boosted posts once in a while? And sorry for those of you who are so sick of hearing about us and our struggle on Facebook.
Get used to it. We have a social media expert here. We really need some help, okay?
I mean, of all the days, it's going to be this one.
And then, so we dropped like 5 here and there. And today it said, drop 20. Like, excuse me? Do you think I'm made of money, Faith? What is this? And this is after, because I was like, oh, it gave us a $10 free boost. Like, that's awesome. Like, thanks, I was tricked. I was tricked into thinking that this was some act of goodwill. No, it was Facebook leading up to the $20 ask.
They progressively get you to...
I cannot believe...
upselling you.
I cannot believe that happened. I was like, this is...
They have come into your house like a vacuum salesman.
They have!
And they're like, oh, we'll totally clean this room for you to show you this vacuum. That's $800.
They cleaned one room for free, and now they're just chilling in my hallway, and I can't get them to leave.
It's true.
It's the worst.
So anyway, I don't know. Facebook is weird. So because we're trying to like be like, oh no, Facebook totally. This is very interesting. Because that's the thing. The algorithm is like supposed to pull out what's interesting to you.
Yeah.
And the more activity something has, the more interesting it supposes it is.
Yes.
Especially if it's about some content that you particularly like or whatever. Yeah, because Facebook is, like, very heavy on tracking the things that you click on. They even track, like, the things that you hover on, which is real creepy. Yeah. But,
I actually had a social ad training yesterday. So I work in advertising at an agency. And, their social guy came in and did all these things. And I was like, oh, there's so many creepy ways. Facebook and LinkedIn.
I mean, it used to just be, like pumping your meta tags with BS was like the way to like increase your and now
it's just like having to drop random dollars into everything. It's just and he got to like social like boosts, like boosted posts that live on your timeline, like our content. I'm like, this is just a pit of despair. Like this is just the worst. We're in it too deep now. They want more money. They're like, it's like a mob boss. Like, hey, $5 for protection. I'm like, yeah, okay. And now he comes around like $20. I'm gonna burn your building to the ground. I'm like, this escalated so quickly. I don't have the money.
We have like 50 likes on Facebook. It's not like if they compare that to how much they're trying to sell us ads. We're not recouping this money. You know, like our 50 followers on Facebook aren't like, oh yeah, totally. Yeah, each of those is $1. That's never true for anyone.
Hey, what up, P-Deezies? Hi, this is your co-host, Steve. I'm just here to interrupt the show and say, once again, as always, thank you very much for listening. I hope you're enjoying this very special episode wherein we had Cola, our guest social media expert, I guess. She's great. Anyway, one thing that we interestingly forgot to mention during the episode, and you won't hear it except right here, is that we did a survey for the name of our followers, the listeners to Plain Donuts. We didn't know what to call you, so we asked you what you wanted to be called, gave you a bunch of names, and there was kind of a wide margin of victory for the name Donut Holes. So we're not going to be calling you PDZs, unfortunately. We will be calling you Donut Holes or some variation thereon whenever we want to refer to you. Or maybe we'll just never say it again. I don't know. We'll probably use Donut Holes, although it feels a little derogatory when I say it out loud. Anyway, if this is your first time listening to Plain Donuts, you will know that we're a podcast, but you will not know that we have a website. It's yourplaindonuts.com. That is YOUR plaindonuts.com. You can go there to find all of our social media stuff, so Twitter and Facebook. You can also send people links to the various episodes from that website. It's just yourplaindonuts.com. We'd love to hear back from you in any way, shape, or form you want to, whether it be on Facebook or Twitter, or send us an email to yourplaindonuts@gmail.com. There are just a mazillion ways you can get a hold of us, and this show wouldn't exist. Its content would not be anything really anymore without your help. So, anyway, this is starting to trail off. I better say my goodbyes. I love you very much. Thank you again for listening. You're the very best audience any dude could ever ask for. Okay, enjoy the rest of the show.
So anyway,
Questions.
yes. So I went around and posted a bunch of my own questions on the different places that people talked about it, because in order for Facebook to make things interesting, then people will see it and they'll ask their own questions. That's the idea. My first question was, I asked a bunch of different questions. So
Yeah, you did.
one of my questions was, how do you feel about people achieving financial success through their creative medium? Do you think people who do a thing and then start getting sponsorships and money for it are sellouts, or do you think hardworking creators are right to profit from their work?
Good question.
That's a very academic question,
Yeah,
and
I
mostly
think-
about, like, I follow a lot of people on YouTube, and there's this weird like stigma, like if you're a creator on YouTube in particular and you start like making money from it, a lot of your followers will be like, "Oh, you're selling out now,"
Yeah.
and that's
And
like,
even if they're very transparent about it too,
Yeah.
like they could be, a beauty blogger and they're not getting free things from, like Neutrogena or anything beauty related. It's like Audible or, something completely different. And
Yeah.
everyone gets all mad. Like, oh, you're taking sponsorships now? Like, blah,
Well,
on you.
And for me, like, I think about this stuff sometimes. If I were to ever like be good at anything and people wanted to pay me for it, like, the thing is like, you can write that into your contract. Like, if you're gonna sponsor me, you don't get any control over the content.
Yeah.
All you're saying is, we like what you do. We want to continue. We want you to continue to do what you're doing, and because of your followership, you get this sponsorship. It has nothing to do. Those two things aren't related. And for me, like, I don't know. I think all of these people, all businesses, should be in a position where they have set themselves up to the point to say, hey, if you want to drop out because you don't like my content anymore, or you think it's bad for your brand or whatever, that's fine. Like, I don't need to cater that just so that you stay on, like, because if you set yourself up financially, then it's like, meh, I can lose a sponsor. That's fine.
And y'all know, if you've listened, that I'm thirsty for celebrity shout-outs and sponsorships. Lin-Manuel Miranda, are you listening to me?
He's not listening.
He's not listening to me at all. He's not. He doesn't even know I exist. He doesn't care about me.
One day, Alicia, I will get there and I will bring you along. I
Oh
promise.
my gosh. Cole and I are going to the top.
Hey.
We are going to the top and finding him.
It's true.
And he's going to EGOT, and he's going to be bigger than ever. And this is going to be crazy.
I have a new celebrity crush, I decided.
Oh, who? This is interesting.
Shia LaBeouf.
Oh,
okay.
I
yeah.
love Shia LaBeouf.
That's respectable. I like Shia LaBeouf.
I'm not gay, by the way. If this is your first time listening, I have a wife and everything. But Shia LaBeouf, man, I saw him on that show with Sway in the morning, doing like the five.
The five
the five beats of death or whatever, 5 fingers of death. And like, he was so good.
Yeah.
And I was like, Shia LaBeouf. And then recently he's started doing, and the thing is I don't think Shia LaBeouf like has any social media. I have no idea.
He has an Instagram.
Does he?
The only reason I know is because Otto loves Shia LaBeouf and follows his Instagram.
Yeah. So anyway, recently I saw this thing. He started an art project, like a sort of performance art installation.
He's like the best performance artist of all time. I have to put that out there. He's really, really good, and people think he's a jerk, but he's just a really
amazing. He's amazing.
He's just a really good performance artist.
So he started this thing called He Will Not Divide Us. And I think the first thing I read, and I haven't read a whole lot about it, but I think the thing I read said he intends him and
Jaden Smith.
Yeah. They intend for it to go for 4 years. Like, basically it's just a streaming camera where somebody can stand in front of it and say, he will not divide us as many times as they want.
Wow.
So then I saw this thing where this like really trendy looking white supremacist decided to get into the camera and start whispering 14. I guess 14 is like code for 14 words, which is sort of like this white supremacist motto has 14 words in it or whatever.
Is it like their mission statements?
Yeah.
Or their manifesto?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't repeat it even if I knew what it was.
Thanks, Steve.
But yeah. No marketing for those guys. But anyway, other than this that I'm saying right now. Anyway, Shia LaBeouf like got in the guy's face and was basically screaming, he will not divide us.
I saw that video, and I wasn't sure what it was about 100%.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't necessarily being pushy, but he was very aggressive in like his body language. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what's going to happen?
Somebody said Shia LaBeouf should start a hardcore band.
I'm pretty sure he already has one, and it's probably like in Holland or something. And he's like the lead man. We just don't know it yet.
We just don't know Shia LaBeouf has a hardcore band.
Yeah.
He has tattoos. I think I think it's Biggie, Tupac, and Missy Elliott that he has tattooed on him.
Huh.
I told you I have a new celebrity crush.
Yeah.
Apparently, Cola has had this celebrity crush already.
Yeah. We haven't really heard. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say my life revolves around this kind of useless crap.
Yeah. So we haven't really heard from your perspective about this, like
about
sponsorships and sellouts and all that stuff.
I mean, in my opinion, isn't everyone's dream to like make money doing what you love? Like, isn't that isn't that kind of a goal of life?
Well,
like, hey.
And I think I agree, and I think a lot of like what I'm very serious Steve right now, but I think a lot of what you see is like young people who don't understand, like literally don't understand the value of money yet.
Yeah.
So like they're like, why do you care about making this money? And it's like, because I have to live.
Yeah.
Like it would be awesome to be able to like create content just for a living for yourself, right? And for your viewers or whatever. I think that'd be sweet. So
or
like
whatever. Just those viewers or whatever.
Or whoever matters.
Yeah. I always the person that comes to mind whenever we're talking about this is Philip DeFranco.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because he puts out so much content. He has a private video like blog that he does of his family on top of the Philip DeFranco show, on top of he does like movie reviews, a book club. He has got like all these things going on. When I watch him, like I don't understand how anyone could be mad because he's spending literally like probably 60 or 70, 80 plus hours a week dedicated to doing all these things.
Yeah.
So
it's a job. Yeah,
it's his job and he's spending a lot of time on it. So it's kind of like,
I've never understood that. Or like, I always think about, like I had a bunch of friends in high school, and it's like when their favorite band would get popular or whatever and play at like a big venue, they were like, oh, they're sellouts now. Like, I don't even want to go see them there. And I was like, isn't that the whole point of like their band though? Is that they want to like do well and make a living off of it and like bring it to more people? Like, I'm not going to look at the Rolling Stones and be like, sellouts. Because they like performed at the Super Bowl or something. Like, no, it's
yeah, that's bizarre.
And actually, the Red Hot Chili Peppers performed last year at the Super Bowl, was it? And like people were mad because it was basically like a lip synced performance. Their guitars weren't plugged in and all that stuff. And they actually wrote on their website about it. Flea came out and was like, yeah, we never do this. In fact, we had a performance on a television show one time where they wanted us to do this, and we basically made a huge joke out of it. So we never perform without actually performing, but like nobody gets the chance to perform at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So if you get that opportunity,
You're
even if
gonna
you have to fake it, you're still going to do it, because how awesome is that? You know? And it was basically like, we wanted the experience.
Yeah.
And that's obviously for the Chili Peppers, it's like, they don't necessarily need the fee they're getting from the Super Bowl to go play there. None of them are like poor.
Yeah.
So like, for them, it's like, we want this experience. And I think that's awesome. And it's cool that they just came out and said, yeah, we know you think we sold out, but we don't care. It was fun.
Yeah. And then they go and they roll around in their money and they throw it into the fireplace.
And then they like
keep warm.
They like wrestle James Corden on some lawn in Hollywood.
Save a
That's
baby.
just what celebrities do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. They did save a baby.
Yeah, they saved a baby.
Anyway, you guys can look up that James Corden video if you want. Shout out to James Corden. Hey, another celebrity shout out.
Okay.
Cola, you seem to have a lot of celebrity interests.
I do. I told you my life revolves around this kind of crap. Like the amount of like celebrity crushes I have is like problematic. So
that's how she has 13,000 Instagram followers.
Oh, right.
You gotta just be really into celebrities, like obsessively so.
And then
we have a question about that.
And then occasionally I somehow get in there and they follow me, and it's fantastic. So.
Oh, nice. Check that out.
That happened with David Diggs, right?
Yeah, it did. That's why I'm saying.
Follows you? He follows you on Instagram?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just working my way up, girl, and I'll get you
this
in.
This is crazy. My mind is like blown right now.
You've never heard this story?
No.
Cola, tell us the story.
Please tell us.
Would you like to hear this? Okay, so so context. I'm obsessed with Oakland. Like, the Raiders and the Athletics are my team. I'm obsessed with the Bay Area. My dad lived up there when my parents divorced, and so I spent summers up there, and we used to go to games and just always go and visit and stuff, because like, what else are you going to do with your kids who don't know anyone in town except for try and show them a good time at these different places? So I'm obsessed with Oakland, and David Diggs is from Oakland, and in my Hamilton mania, and my just general obsession with the Raiders, I was like, I feel like I'm going to do an art collection based on the different people that have come out of Oakland and like the successful people that have come out of there, and kind of show the diversity. So show like David Diggs is the, the Broadway star, and then like Shanaka Hodge is the poet, and Ryan Coogler is the director, and, the guys out of Green Day, and just, everyone. So basically I, was like, I'm going to draw David first, because I was still really into Hamilton at that point, which never goes away, but ever. But so I was starting to draw him, and I never tag anyone in my pictures ever on Instagram, because I don't know, I feel like they never check or care or anything. But I had a couple gin and tonics, and I was like, I'm drawing David Diggs and drinking a gin and tonic, and tagged him in it. And I woke up in the morning, and I had like a couple of responses on it, and I kind of didn't really look at them. I was just like, oh, cool, thanks, guys. And then I saw somebody's who was like the emojis, like the screaming face with like the fingers pointing up. And I was like, what comment did I overlook? Like, what's happened? And I checked, and it was David Diggs, and he was like, oh, all of these choices are incredibly accurate or impressively accurate or something, I don't know. And he was like, thanks. And I lost my mind, naturally.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Like, had a meltdown and was like, oh my gosh, fangirled a whole lot. And then went into like my notifications later on that day.
And I bet it like blew up, right? It was probably crazy.
Well, yeah. So like I went into my notifications just to like, because sometimes I'll miss stuff, and I'm terrible at checking things. And so I scrolled through and was like, oh my gosh, wait. He not only commented and liked the photo, he followed me. And I had the complete meltdown. And then, of course, I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I can't post anything terrible or annoying, because what if he unfollows me? And then I would like panic and I would like go on and make sure that he like still followed me because I was like, this is the coolest moment. So we would go on and like double check and make sure he was still there. And I was like, why would he unfollow you? You have not posted anything. Like, it's not like he's going to take the time to be like, that girl I followed yesterday, I'm going to go find her, remove her. So,
never mind that girl.
Yeah, forget that.
Pretty much.
I thought that was cool, but now I had too many gin and tonics.
Yeah,
I need to
I
unfollow.
shouldn't.
Yeah, right? Exactly. I was like, that doesn't make sense. And then Shinaka Hodge is like one of his good friends, and she follows me now because I drew her as well. She follows me now and contacted me and was like, I might want you to, she's like, give me your contact information. I might want you to create something for my next book or album cover. And I was like,
what?
Yeah, I'm just going to like slide into your guys' lives real sly. And you won't know it until you hear this podcast that there was just like a whole plan going on.
Yeah.
Wow, you're the most famous person I've ever met. Yeah.
You're really letting the secret out.
I
right
know.
now.
It's true.
You might be doing damage to your future career.
I know, I'm just jinxing it. They're all going to be like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. You're never going to meet Lynn now.
Hanging out with these scrubs.
Dang it. I'm
Scrubs
so
like
sorry
us.
we had you on the podcast.
Hey, regardless, I'm still going to London in May, so
Right.
I'm
and
coming
not
for
spending
you.
any time specifically looking
Not
for
spending
Lynn.
any time at all specifically looking for men.
I like the way that just trailed off. Beautiful. Do you have some? You could
Let's
ask?
see. I have. Well, you can just go down yours. So
Okay,
you have-
sure.
You have a ton.
So Heidi said, how do you use your LinkedIn followers to build your brand? For example, I have 1,300 connections on LinkedIn. I put out a post that was viewed 300 plus times, but only had 2 likes. Where am I going wrong? I don't know anything about LinkedIn.
I only briefly know from our social training, LinkedIn, there's different ways you can also boost content within LinkedIn because it's a similar algorithm as Facebook. So you're going to have to shell out some cash, unfortunately, for that because they just want your money. And
I think LinkedIn is the worst for that. And that app is like so in your face. Like, it's like, can I please send you notifications? And you're like, no, please.
Leave me alone.
No,
it's like an X that just doesn't go away.
And then it's like, let us into your contacts so we can find people on here. And I'm like, that's very intrusive. No, thank you.
Yeah. And another thing, advertisers really like LinkedIn because of how hyper local and specific you can get with ads. Mm-hmm. Because people will fill out things like, it's like essentially a virtual resume. Like you put your address, you put your phone number, you put, your exact title and what you're looking for and all these things. Mm-hmm. So you essentially put all this information out there. And so it's just like, oh, this is great. Like I want to target exactly nurses who live in, like San Diego and then you can target all those people through LinkedIn and it's crazy. So unfortunately it's just kind of one of those things where you have to shell out some cash. And they say I'm using quotes here for those of you who cannot see me using quotes, which is all of you besides Stephen Cola. They say that it's a way to boost. They call it a boost because it's supposed to boost organic growth, like because it's already a thing that lives on your timeline or in your LinkedIn feed or whatever, and you're essentially just pushing it out to more people to help it kind of like the organic growth spike. But then they're like, oh, you're willing to pay money for it? Well, we're going to hide it. And then you have to pay money to like reveal it organically. It's the worst. I hate it so much.
It's so uncomfortable. And like, that's the thing is like, I don't know. I feel like in terms of like the podcast, for example, its growth is going to be better suited to come in an actual organic way where people are talking about it with each other than like for us to pay and have it just sent to random people who don't know anything about it or know anyone who's ever heard of it or anything like that. So they're just like, what is this weird Facebook ad, So I don't know. As much as like it's interesting for us to like drop a little bit of money and just see if anything happens or whatever, I don't know if it's that actually helpful.
Yeah,
for us,
I mean, and we can boost it to. Boosting only essentially works to people who already follow you or follow the page and their friends. So
Yes.
that I can see like how that would help, but at the same time, I just feel like this is the worst.
It's
I
really
hate
weird.
it.
They already said they like us.
Yeah.
So like,
Why not?
Why do we have to also give you money for them to see content they like?
Yeah,
It's very weird.
It's annoying.
Anyway,
I'm sorry, Heidi. That's just kind of
we're here to rant about social media more than we are to teach you about
Yeah,
it.
sorry.
100%.
Sarah, who's a mutual friend, said between me and Cola, said that she's my secret best friend and I love her. So
Heart. I added the heart. There's no heart in there.
There's no
but
heart
I would
in there.
imagine that would be a
Sarah
thing.
missed out on this emoji opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed in her.
Emojis are the future. It's going to go right back to how the Egyptians were with hieroglyphics. There will be no more, alphabet. It's just going to be emojis.
Yeah. Well, and if eventually I'll be reading like way into the emotion behind
Yeah.
emojis. Like, why did they do the tilt face smile, crying, laughing? Like,
Why was it the monkey and not the human? I don't understand.
Yeah. Okay, that's the one thing that I do get confused about. I only use the human emojis, and when people use like the monkey emojis, I feel like that's them being cheeky with me. So I'm like, hey, you cheeky monkey, and maybe that's like me just like projecting that onto that. So who knows?
I don't know. Maybe I'd be like trying to be racist right now. What do you like? That's not very nice. Why do they even have monkey emojis?
I don't know.
Anyway,
You're the one that took it to race, Steve. Jeez.
I'm very sensitive. I'm triggered right now.
Oh, no.
Ah!
Come on, Steve. You're cis white male. I'm the one who's supposed to be triggered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, I feel very victimized in our current culture. I'm suppressed.
Stop being
No,
suppressed.
not really. I'm not one of those
I
guys.
started so much crap on my Facebook yesterday because of that, and I was like, oh no.
So bad.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, like, everything is so politicized to people. Like, somebody said like they're into social justice or something along those lines, and someone else was like, social justice is a leftist agenda.
Yeah.
And I was like, say what? Like, I just want poor people to be okay.
I just don't want kids to starve to death. I mean, we can mutually agree that children
Right.
starving to death on the street is a thing that nobody wants to happen.
Are you? Well,
Speak for yourself.
I guess I'm just a leftist,
what a
Yeah.
commie.
triggered
Jeez.
snowflake.
No. Yeah, I'm really good at stirring up those controversies like the flat earth theory and posting,
I think that's why
posting
you have so
something
many
innocent
followers.
and, having it go out of control about the Women's March, even though it was like, I literally didn't mention the Women's March. That's not what I was talking
Yeah.
about.
It was pretty funny because, like, I sort of chimed in on one
Yes.
comment thread there, and then I felt like the people on it were like, just like, no, Steve, you're wrong. And I was like, I was just trying to say, like, if there's a good reason for them, probably. Like, I don't understand. Anyway, I was like, don't worry about me. I'm an idiot. Please leave me alone.
Yeah.
That's the thing I try very hard on my social media profiles is to not mention anything political
Right.
Yeah.
or controversial at all, except for Harambe, because Lord knows Harambe was my bro,
I know.
and we're still mourning his loss.
We are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He kicked
Gosh,
off.
Steve.
He kicked off 2016, the year of death. Like,
It's a symbolic thing, okay?
It's true.
Yeah.
I don't expect you to understand.
Okay. So, for context on this, you have to know that we described Nicole in a very
pretentious way.
pretentious and like totally fluffy,
Nonsense.
completely meaningless way, right? And so my friend said, Sheldon, he said, I have no idea what you just said, and I still can't wait to listen. And that's a very kind compliment, actually. But yeah, none of that meant anything. And my wife was like, what does that mean? And I was like, it's not supposed to mean, that's the joke. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
That's true.
And she's like, nobody's going to get that. And I was like, you're probably right. They'll figure it out, maybe.
But reading it, maybe they'll be like, oh, this is the type of podcast I'm in for if I listen.
Yeah.
I hope not. 'Cause
We gotta catch him with a super great copy for our podcast.
I know. We have to have some.
we gotta
kind
have
of,
our social media expert over here
Yeah.
come up with some great
some kind of
words,
shocking, gripping
all
description.
the best words, some tremendous words.
You got some good ones you're using right now.
Just clickbait the crap out of it.
I've never thought about how, like, our Fine President's patterns of speech essentially are clickbait. Wow. That's
amazing.
Very odd. Okay. So we have more questions, but I think I asked literally all the rest of them.
Yeah. Well, there's some on our podcast page.
Yeah. That's right. Oh, there was one my wife asked for some money.
Yeah.
You mentioned that earlier. But yes, Aldo asked a question. Go ahead, Alicia.
Let's see. Aldo asks a couple questions. What was your favorite Imgur trend of 2016? Was your preferred medium for art? I saw the Brando. What?
She did a Brando piece.
Yeah, I did a Marlon Brando sketch.
Oh, okay. And I was curious if you used charcoals. I was like, this is not my question. This is not a question for me, so I'm just going to read that out loud. So, yeah. So, should we start with the first question?
Yeah. So, what was your favorite Imgur trend of 2016?
I was going to say, I mean, because you've said Imager, you said Imgur, and I usually say Imgur, even though I think it is technically Imager, I think.
I don't know. I have
no idea.
For Imgur.
They don't even know. They all fight about it when you're on there. Like, the people in the comments still can't agree.
We used all three forms, I think, that are possible.
There you go.
Yeah.
Unless it's like Imgur.
Anyway, so you have to roll the R on that one for some reason. So I don't follow I don't follow those
that
trends.
Website.
I don't follow the trends on there very much. Like I'm a very moderate Redditor. I don't look at Reddit every day, and I don't look at Imager. I look at that site even less, and so it's really bad.
I think I don't know. I'm really there for the memes.
I am too.
Yeah.
And I just love the memes. There were a lot of good memes. Okay, so my favorite trend, and I'll just say this, and judge me all you want, but Bernie Sanders dank memes were off the chain for me. I loved it, and now I follow like this dank memes like page on Facebook. It's totally stupid, so stupid, but I can't get enough just because between like Hillary and Bernie and Donald and the Zodiac Killer and Marco and
I think I would have to say the Zodiac Killer might have been
that was one of my like favorite, like what in like the poll they did in Florida, and like 40% of them said that they thought that Ted Cruz was the Zodiac Killer. And I don't know who they polled. There was like, and it could have been totally fake, but I thought it was hilarious. But
they polled Florida. Florida is insane. It's always like Florida man does this. Like Florida is like they're weird.
Yeah, like Florida man literally eaten by a crocodile and eats his way out of the inside of a crocodile. Like that's the stuff
that
that's happening.
Bath salts guy was in Florida. You know, like
the guy
eats
that
a person.
Ate the face off
Like,
and the kid that got snatched up by the crocodile.
Yeah, it's always Florida.
Oh. So crazy.
Did that happen last year? Was that last year?
I don't know. Also, like the put a bird on it. Bernie Sanders meme was really good, where like literally the bird landed on his podium while he was speaking.
That's pretty funny.
Pretty good.
Oh, and I will have to say Harambe memes were also hilarious. So
yeah, it's good.
Bring
all the memes that I am very familiar with are a little older. Like I'm an old man in the millennial world.
So you're a Pepe follower, huh?
No.
Oh gosh, I hate that guy.
I was okay with him until very recently.
No,
the white supremacists have taken a good meme.
What? I don't even know this story.
The white supremacists, they all use Pepe for things.
It's really bizarre.
Because like somebody was saying that hacker 4chan was doing this weird Donald Trump stuff. I don't know. And so like people on 4chan started using Pepe for everything, and then like it got embraced by the actual like white supremacist community. And so now like Richard Spencer wears a pin of Pepe while he gets punched in the face.
Bizarre. Yeah, I remember seeing. I was like, "Is that a Pepe pin?" Like before I even like saw the rest of the video, I'm like, "What is this world? Like this world makes no sense."
And the creator of Pepe is like mad about it. He's like, "I hate this." Anyway, it's pretty funny.
Oh, jeez.
My favorite trend on Imager, whatever, is well, okay, so I always really like the Tumblr posts because they crack me up, because you either get like the really good ones or you get the ones of people just being idiots. And then like there's always like the last sentence of somebody like calling them out, being like, "No, you moron, it's this, this, and this." So the Tumblr posts are always fun to me, but if you go onto my Facebook page, you'll notice that I have been sucked down the deep dark hole of Biden memes.
Oh yeah.
And I love them so much. I think they're fantastic. Like there's
Yeah.
Yes.
the
Joe
Biden
Biden
memes
is-
are everything to me. And if we could get like a Joe Biden and like a George W. Bush ticket.
Oh my gosh,
Oh.
I would so vote for that. I would
100%,
run
right?
out of my house and sprint down to the polls.
Right?
I heard
if that
somebody
was...
say that, like, legally, Biden and Obama could
Yes.
switch positions and they could actually run again
Yes.
Yeah.
as Biden and Obama, which would be pretty hilarious. Man, I don't know what Obama's going to do, but when he's done taking a break, I'm excited to see what will happen.
Take a break. Run away
No,
with us for the summer. Let's
he
go
really-
upstate. Lin-Manuel.
I know. I was like, I just want to start singing now. Don't do that to me.
Cola. So, Aldo also asked what your favorite medium is for art and if you use charcoals.
I occasionally use charcoals, but I kind of just prefer graphite. I love graphite. And my picture of Shinaka Hodge, actually, I went and got like a whole kit that had like charcoal and graphite and lead and all these different things in it. And one of them was literally lead. And I was like, I don't know if that's good for you.
Like poisonous lead?
Yes, and it literally says on the box, like, because in California they make you label it, saying that, like, this it can potentially cause cancer.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't read it, and so I drew the picture of Shinaka with that, and I was like, as I was sitting there, you know, shading away, it was flaking off, and I was breathing it in, and literally I just remember being like, I really don't feel good, and just feeling incredibly
no.
sick.
Oh.
And I did it twice before I like finally realized, like, could it be that I'm inhaling lead and perhaps that's why I don't feel well? I mean, I think
geez.
even inhaling graphite would probably make me feel ill. So
Yeah, they
But,
have
you know,
so I've used powdered graphite before and that stuff is so messy.
yeah.
And then the worst is the fixing mediums that you can use.
Yeah.
Because that stuff is super poisonous. One lady sprayed it inside her house and it killed her cat in one of my classes that I took a while ago, and I was like, oh, that sounds like a fun thing to have.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, so
My wife has to do that stuff outside. And she always has. Like, when she sprays down her sculptures or whatever, after she paints them, she always does it outside. Because otherwise, it gets really messy.
It does.
yeah.
Okay, so we have another question that I wrote. All my questions are weird.
I know.
I heard that...
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to
No.
say something, but I'll just be quiet.
You're welcome to make fun of me.
You should say it because you're our guest.
I mean,
Yeah,
it wasn't going to be
we are
rude, but I was
guests.
just going to say, like, because I follow you guys, so I feel like everyone else's questions in the past have been like, what do you think about boats or something? You know, and like, Steve's have been like, hey, so creative people.
How do you feel about them boats? You like
think
trolling for
That's
fish?
hilarious because I feel like that perfectly like captures like the feeling that we have with this podcast, because I feel like I'm more like just kind of ridiculous. Like, what's your favorite cheese? You know, like, how do you feel? What do you feel about bats? You know, and
Right.
you're like, okay, like looking back in time.
Steve's over here having like an existential crisis
Yeah.
while you're fangirling over Lin-Manuel.
I know,
So,
it's so pathetic.
I have been listening. I've been listening to this Game Grumps podcast that they put out. Like before, it's called Before the Grumps, and they're talking to all these people about like, speaking of existential crises, about like what they were doing before Game Grumps started, and a couple of them, Aaron and what is his name? I don't want to get it wrong because it's right here on my phone. Ross started out in the animating community on Newgrounds, which is
yeah.
like before YouTube. There was like this Newgrounds place, and I knew about Newgrounds in high school, and I was into art in high school. And after high school, when I was about 20, I started getting into animating Flash, and like I noticed that like they were getting into animating on Newgrounds. Like my first programming job was a Flash job. But anyway, they were getting into animating on Newgrounds right around the same time I was in high school or just after. And I was like, man, if I didn't leave and like get away from a computer for a couple years, like I probably would have gotten into that and maybe could have like been at the same ground floor that they were in.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed a window in my life. And I keep looking back at like these different points where I'm like, dang it, I missed that window.
Oh,
Ah!
that's the worst.
My success is gone and I'm now old. Anyway.
Hey, Morgan Freeman didn't start acting until he was 40.
Yeah, Morgan
So
Freeman.
you lettered in drama, Steve.
I
I
know.
think that you still have a chance for EGOTing.
There you
Thanks.
You
go.
can still EGOT.
I appreciate that.
Steve, you were a drama major. I'm a
As you
film
can tell.
major. I mean, like, there's, you know,
Yeah, well, I majored in drama in high school. That doesn't
Wow.
count very much, but
still.
Still counts.
anyway,
You
got
trained,
you actually
whatever.
got a real degree. I got the School of Hard Knocks degree where I got a job doing Flash. I don't
Got
know.
an art degree, so there you go.
Anyway,
It
so
could be worse. It could be a philosophy degree.
I know.
Oh, yep.
You could be working
Whenever
at
people make
Starbucks.
fun of me, I'm like, well, I could be a philosophy major. And then I met a philosophy major, and then I kind of felt bad about making all those philosophy major jokes. But they were still in school, like, getting their doctorate in philosophy. And I was thinking in my head, like, what does that mean?
Yeah,
And maybe that's the question that they're really looking
There you
for.
go.
Is, what does it mean to have a doctorate in philosophy?
I feel like at that point, all you get to do is be like, I have this, and now I'm going to go teach this. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
like all you're
it's
going to
true.
do.
philosophy's awesome. I love that study. But anyway, so I asked this question. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. I'm just really tired of my success being
Thwarted.
unavailable. Anyway, so I heard that deep diving, in fact, I heard this in that Game Grumps podcast, but I heard that deep diving and obsessing over a certain subject is a sign of creativity, but I'm not sure if I do that. Does that mean I'm not creative? What do you think is a marker in a person for creativity, and what do you think people can do to cultivate it in themselves?
Whoa.
Right?
What I'm asking like essay questions. I don't know why I'm doing it this
Well.
way.
Steve, to start off with my thesis, I'd like to say, okay, can you go ask the first question again? Because sorry, that was kind of a
There's like
serious-
9
Yeah.
parts.
Yes, I will. So, I heard that deep diving and obsessing over a certain subject is a sign of creativity, but I'm not sure if I do that. Does that mean I'm not creative? So I guess the question is, firstly, do you agree that like when somebody is like fangirling or fanboying for over like something and getting really into it and really exploring it, do you think that is a sign of creativity in somebody, or do you think that's just sort of like the human thing to do?
Are you asking about fan art specifically?
Not necessarily, no.
Uh,
Just like that sort of obsessive nature. Do you think that indicates a creative mind?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it.
I think it indicates a creative mind. I don't think it's exclusive to it. Like, I don't think if you don't do that, then you can't be creative by any means.
Yeah.
But
I guess that's fair.
but
I think it's
yeah.
also, yeah. I think it's a good jumping off point for a lot of people because I feel like people are sometimes really intimidated about coming up with like their own concepts and ideas. So when you like draw something that's like fan art, or you write your own like piece of fan fiction, like although it might feel kind of silly, like you're still at least adding something onto something that has previously existed, and you made something that hasn't existed before.
Yeah.
So
No, that's true.
Yeah, you're still
I-
creating.
yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people too, like, especially if they start out like trying to do comedy or whatever, they start out doing parodies of things because you have a
Yeah.
jumping off point, right? So I think you might be right. What are some other markers do you think are in people for creativity? Like if you meet a person that does like happens to do a certain thing, or you're like, wow, that person is of a creative type.
Yeah. Like, I guess it depends on what you're thinking about creative type. Because, I mean, there's creativity in a lot of things. Like, you could be a chef, or you could be a programmer.
That's true.
Or you could, be pretty much whatever.
Mhm.
Like, there's all sorts of different types of creativity that exist.
That's true.
It's a great
And you
point.
could be, yeah. Or you could be a problem solver. Like, being creative in that way. Like, solving any problem.
Yeah. I don't know. I think people who create, like, not necessarily in the way of like problem solving or logical creativity, but in the way of like creating something out of nothing, like cooking or art or whatever. For me, I think a good indicator for that is people who are introspective. Like a lot of times when somebody is like self-assessing, I feel like that is a good, they're laying good groundwork for themselves to make something that is poignant, if that makes any sense. I guess this is kind of weird, but I don't know. That's, for me, that's an indicator. I don't know. In fact, I don't know a lot of people who think that way who I wouldn't call creative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's not very scientific. I don't know if that's true, but
Yeah.
it seems to me to be that way.
That's true.
Yeah. And I always thought of it too, at least when I was in school, I was taught that essentially, because people will say, oh, well, you know, like it's art or TV or whatever, like that's not, you know, valuable. Like those sorts of things aren't valuable. But I was taught that art is essentially you're being asked a question or given a problem, and you have to solve that problem in like whatever way that you do. Like, say, for example, if you're a sculptor, you're given like a piece of wood. Like, that's the problem. Like, you just have this plain piece of wood, and your solution is, well, I'm going to create some, like, I'm going to make it different somehow, or I'm going to, you know, change it in some way. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's just cause and effect.
Yeah.
Changing something.
So you were saying basically like a person who creates art or something like that is maybe answering one of life's questions differently than maybe other people would.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that's a good way to put it though too, because I know if I get unbelievably stressed out or something, that's usually when I get like, maybe not the most creative, but that's generally when I create the most. And I don't know if it's maybe a way for me to deal with the stress or if it's a way for me to like, avoid my adult responsibilities. I mean, that's an excellent possibility. But, you know, I know if I went through like a bad breakup, I created literally like 50 different images, and granted they were much smaller than the ones I'm doing now. But, yeah, so I mean, it's just an answer to a problem or a question or something. It's a way to express or get that, whatever that is that's inside that you feel out.
Yeah. And I think that's maybe why people typically equate artists or creative people to be like more moody or maybe like you're staying more introspective or, you know, whatever.
Sure.
But it's just because that's, I guess, a way of expressing the problems that they find.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's interesting that you say that you create more if you get stressed out. For me, like usually my stresses are financial, and so like if I get stressed in that way, like I tend to create less because I have, you know, I'm a programmer, and so like that's a skill that I can use to get money, and so like I try to find ways to get money, and usually that means like creating less. Unfortunately, it really sucks actually, because like I'll get into doing stuff and then I'll be like, gotta make some money, you know? Like, so yeah, it's a weird flow of life, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got no time left. We're like at an hour and 10 in.
Oh, geez.
So I think we should end on this question that I wrote. I crafted it very carefully.
Uh-oh.
I said, if you think about a centaur,
Oh, no.
is it weird that he effectively has 2 extra limbs? Like, it's not just half and half. It's like 3/4 of a horse and half a man. Is this weird to you?
So you're essentially saying it's like 125%
Yeah.
of something.
It's very unfair. Like, it's not like if I'm gonna go fight a centaur with my bare hands and he's fighting me with his bare hands,
And
he
his
also
hooves.
has hooves and like the strength of a horse.
So is it horsepower or what is that exactly?
Yeah, it's literally 1 horsepower.
Or is it like 75 horsepower?
No, it's
0.75.
it's literally 1.
It is
like that's the measure of horse.
Oh, I was talking about a centaur.
But he's a
power.
centaur,
Oh,
so does he
yeah.
lose
Right.
power?
He's probably 1.25. Well, I don't know how much.
Does the man
How much?
parts?
Yeah, how much horsepower can a man produce? Probably like a lot less than a horse,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's probably like like 0.75
Yeah.
horsepower or 0.8
like
horsepower.
0.8, yeah, horsepower. This is a question we need to ask someone very important, like the CEO of Ford.
Like if President Obama were on our...
Hey, Ford Motor Company
How
person.
much horsepower can a Centaur produce?
Yeah.
This is a very important question.
So this new Mustang that you have,
Yeah, right.
exactly how much horsepower and how does that equate to Centaur power?
Right.
Much like Fahrenheit and Celsius, for example. Like,
Are
what
we
is-
talking about magical centaurs though? Because I think like
Are all centaurs magical?
well, in the Harry Potter world, I'm pretty sure they carried magic with them as well.
I thought that
right?
they were
Or
like
was it-
banned from using wands, or maybe that was just like a more like racist against
I don't know.
centaurs thing.
I haven't thought about the centaur lore in Harry Potter for a while.
This is not something we've really dug deep in. If you're looking for a Harry Potter podcast, this is not the one
I don't
to
know.
follow.
Cola, have you thought about centaur lore in Harry Potter recently?
No, because I didn't read Harry Potter.
Oh, really?
Oh.
No.
That's you read a lot and you haven't read Harry Potter. That's pretty shocking.
I know, and it kind of got to the point where I was like, it's sadly, I mean, this just shows what kind of horrible person I am. It kind of became a point of like almost pride a little bit that I was like, oh, I'm that one person that hasn't done this, you know, like I'm still clean of it. But
I'm clean from the Potter fandom.
in fairness, I read this
My
second.
line remains pure.
Exactly. It's not corrupted with that witchcraft. No, I read
That's
this.
why she's so successful.
Or any of that
Because-
round earth BS.
No, I read the second book and I do own all of the movies. And I think I've probably seen them all in completion, but for some reason I just can't retain it. So
Yeah.
I'm always just like, whatever, Harry Potter. So I don't know. But to bring it kind of full circle, one of my favorite posts on Tumblr, and I can't remember what the original question is, but it's something about centaurs. It's, you know, it's why, or how would a centaur do this and this and this? And somebody posts underneath and they were like, oh, you know, centaurs aren't real. And the person goes, yeah, that's why I made a Tumblr post about it and didn't ask a real centaur. But then, you know, but then yesterday on Imgur, whatever, I saw a post too that said, it just like was a random post that just said, centaurs have 2 rib cages. And I was like,
That's gonna bother me now.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's bizarre. I don't like that. Oh, was it
Finger
the
is on the
centaur?
pulse, man. I didn't even know anybody else was thinking about centaurs right now.
it's like revolving around my life right now, apparently.
Was that was the post about where would a centaur wear a necktie, like a tie? Like would they wear it like around their
waist or whatever.
around their neck? And I feel like
That's a hilarious question.
yeah.
So, all right.
You
Well,
know.
cool.
Yeah.
I guess we can end the podcast. This has been super fun.
been
I
so
feel like I
fun.
gave 0 social media advice, but in fairness, I don't really have much.
Oh, yeah. I did ask you if there's like one. That's a good question. Dang it. I wish we could go back.
We can still do it.
Do you want to?
Throw it in
'Cause
quick.
Okay. So hold on. Where I have
I have
to
to
go to
clear
your
my
Facebook
calculator because I
page.
was adding up how much centaur and man are combined.
Nice. Okay, so what did I say? My question was, and your friend Jenny also said she wanted to have her mind elongated.
Oh, that's
So
true.
I hope we've done that for you, Jenny. I said, is there one weird trick to grow an audience on social media? Why are there some people who have
yes.
who are relatively unpopular with great content and others that are relatively popular with not great content? Yeah, tell us,
Tell us.
Nicole.
I will tell you. So you can do really crappy things like go onto Fiverr and buy likes for your page and boost your, followers that way. But again, they are followers in quotations because they're all pretty much inactive accounts. So probably don't do that. And then anytime Instagram does some kind of like a cleanup or a purge, they of course
They'll
like
go
take
in.
out all of the ghost followers, which is, or well, not even ghost followers. They're not even that. They're just inactive, not real people. So then your ranks go down anyways, or your followers, not your ranking. But I started doing mine, back years ago now. I don't even know when. And back in the day, to get a bunch of followers, you could follow a bunch of people. and then they would follow you back. So I had started doing that, and then I eventually was like, well, I don't care about any of you people. So I removed a bunch of them, and a lot of them fell away. And then there's a million different tools that you can use, like Instagress or Robo-like or whatever, that you can pay for per month. And they'll go out and post comments, and they'll like people's pictures, and they'll follow certain people. And you can, you know, build your audience that way. Which is a perfectly fine way to do it. I mean, it's still essentially, I mean, granted it's paid, but it's still real followers. They're still like technically organic followers, because they are people that are actually interested in what you've posted. So that's why they'll follow you back or like your page back or whatever. And so really, I mean, I find my people that follow me are typically because I've liked one of their posts that was on a popular hashtag that I follow, that I, you know, search through every now and then. Like Hamilton, I go on Hamilton's like hashtag constantly because it's hysterical. Or actually Andrew Scott, who plays Moriarty in Sherlock, he has the best tags. If you're looking for Sherlock ones, go to his, ironically. And so doesn't make sense, but yeah, you know, they're better than Sherlock or Benedict Cumberbatch ones. So, you know, I go through and like different things and comment and stuff. And really, I'm going through them for selfish reasons, so I can screenshot hilarious memes and, you know, posts and stuff like that, and find inspiration because maybe somebody drew something cool, or I don't know, posted a cool quote or whatever. So that's really where mine come from, is just from me interacting with other people on there.
So, and you're saying you've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
Like, essentially what you're describing is something that you've been doing since you started your Instagram account and your Twitter account and whatever.
I'd say like since I came back from Germany. So like maybe 2013 or so. And I mean, I'm really terrible at it as well. Well, I'm terrible with it, I should say, as well, because I'll go inactive forever. You know, I had a client's Instagram on my phone for like 3 months, and I didn't sign into mine once. And when I did, it was just like Sarah had tagged me in like 5,000 different things, and I couldn't view them all. So I'm terrible at it. But that's really, I mean, it's all about being like active and actually posting things that your target audience wants to see. So I know that people that I talk to, or, you know, things that I'm looking at on Instagram are art-based, or they are Hamilton-based, or they are, you know, something in that same genre of things that I like, or like Raiders-based or whatever. And those are typically the people that come back and follow me. They're other artists, and they're Raiders fans, and they're, you know, Hamilton fans, or Sherlock fans, or Doctor Who fans, or Star Wars, whatever. So,
all of these fandoms that you're part of.
Yeah.
Maybe that's my problem. I just can't get into anything.
Come on, Steve.
I'm like, I like Sherlock. And then everybody else is like, I love Sherlock. And I'm like,
well,
okay.
You guys are so scary.
Like, I like Sherlock, but like, and I will watch it, and I will watch it when it comes out because it's awesome, but I'm not going to like freak out on Tumblr about it. Come on, you know, like. So anyway, maybe that's my problem.
I mean, you should. You guys have a Tumblr. You should just freak out on it, because he's actually in their new, well, they're not new anymore, but in their like new policy, they actually like included Benedict Cumberbatch in it, like their terms of use and stuff.
What do they call their fans again? It's like a really funny term.
Oh, it's
Cumberbitches?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know these things, guys. I'm full of completely useless information. I'm telling you.
I just didn't want to. I always hesitate about cussing, even when it's like even when it's a pronoun, proper noun,
proper noun,
not a pronoun. I refer to myself as a cumberbitch.
See, what are your pronouns?
Male, him, her, cumberbitch.
There you go.
Wait, why am I him and her? Because I don't care.
Because you're fluid. Anyway. That's why it's fine.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I think I mean, just to kind of conclude your question there, I think it kind of just, I mean, a lot of it is luck, I think. I mean, personally, because like I lucked out that David Diggs saw it and followed me. You know, like that's kind of it. You can tag people all day long and they're not going to read it or pay attention to it. And I've tagged people that were less famous and, you know, than him, and really just like somebody that I was a fan of something that they've done that was really small, and they don't pay any attention. They don't like it. They don't even check that they were tagged, anything like that. So, I think it's all just about luck.
I think you're being a little hard on yourself, to be fair, because yes, I think it's partially about luck, but you also have really good art. Like that's the thing is like, it's not that you're just tagging people in stuff that isn't interesting or like high quality. And I still believe that this stupid tweet I posted once that said, you know, you're kind of famous when you start getting fan art. You know, you're really famous when you start getting good fan art.
There you go.
And so I think that's part of it too, is David Diggs probably was like, oh, I got tagged on Instagram again and was like, actually, that's really good. Plus gins and tonics.
Yeah.
I'm in. I don't know why I pluralized both of those words.
I was going to say. But no, I do think he probably like saw it. He's great with his fans too. So I think he like went on to like it and comment or whatever. And maybe to see what else my art looks like, because what I had done was like a very like blurry outline of him at that moment. But I think what sold him is that when you go onto my page, especially during that point, it was all very much about Oakland. Like I was in like a real moment where like everything was about Oakland. And I think he was like, he probably thinks I'm from Oakland. He was probably like, yeah, I'll follow her, like a young artist from Oakland.
Yeah.
You're kind of from Oakland.
I'm sort of kind of from the Bay Area.
Your soul is from Oakland.
It's true.
There you go.
That is true.
So anyway, that was it. I really wanted to end on the ridiculous Centaur question, but then I was like, oh no, we gotta. Yeah. I asked a good question,
social question,
but that's actually relevant to what our sort of topic was.
Well,
so anyway,
just remember, kids, centaurs have 2 rib cages.
That's
so
gonna
weird.
Bother me forever. I'm gonna think about that when I go to sleep.
So my wife does this thing where she like sometimes looks at people and like their bodies and their hands and stuff and just thinks about what their skeleton is doing.
Sure.
Well, so next time I see a centaur on Harry Potter, I'm gonna be like, what is that skeleton doing right now? How does this work? Are there spines fused?
Okay, the one thing that would bother me is, what does a centaur's skin feel like? Because if you've touched a horse, it has a very specific texture.
Sure.
Like on their skin. And humans have a very specific, like, human skin texture.
How
like,
did you get to touch a horse's skin without fur on it?
Well, like, the underside doesn't have as much, like...
Are you, like...
I had a horse. I owned a horse.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're like, why are you going around touching random horses?
Princess Alicia had a horse. I see
it was
how
a pony. It is. Yeah. No. But, although, I have to say, small tangent, someone was joking around, one of my friends the other day, that I did all the rich kid like sports, you know, archery, equestrian riding.
Yep.
Golf, tennis. All that
I
stuff.
got the archery merit badge. I worked really hard at scout camp for the whole week to get it. Anyway.
Anyways, but when you touch like the transition from horse skin to human skin, like what would that be like? Like that'd just be a weird.
I feel like you've been like thinking about this for some of the fiction you're thinking about writing.
My Centaur fan fiction. You don't want me to read that on our podcast?
It's going to be Lin-Manuel as a centaur.
He would definitely be a painter horse. That's all I'm going to say.
He would. Yep.
Wow. And on that note, I guess we'll end the podcast. This has been Plain Donuts. I'm your co-host, Steve.
I'm your co-host, Alicia.
And this is our guest, Nicole.
Yay.
Yeah. And thanks for listening.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Centaurs roll.